Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? Welcome back to another edition of the 49ers Rush Podcast. The 49ers are about to be on the clock in the 6th round. And I saw it right there, breaking 80. John's going to be bummed. Dante was just picked. Dante Stills, Rush Crush guy that I really, really liked. Not only did he go right before we went on the clock, he went to a division rival. There is nothing worse than not getting your draft crushes than having to play against them at least twice a year. It's part of it, but that's okay. There's still a lot of really, really good players. Like, we graded 294, and not that many players get drafted. So, and that's kind of been the tell of the tape with this draft class, is that it's depth over quality. And whenever you get into this day 3, I still have, I think, two players in my top 100 that are available, in Andre Carter and Moro Ajomo. I've got Eli Ricks, that's 3, Kobe Turner, 4. So out of 100, my top 100, 4 are still available here in the 6th round. And there's really not that many as we move forward. There's some spots out there. This is going to be a fun year for, the Niners still have 4 picks. We've got this pick coming up here, 2 picks away. The Patriots picks in, then we got Buffalo, then us. But then you've got 3 of the last 7th rounders, and then a whole bunch of undrafted free agents. So it's going to be interesting. And the rush is going to be on. Look at that, 49ers rush, to get some of these guys today. So when the draft ends, it's not over. Then it's time to start tracking all those free agents. And we've seen the 49ers use their undrafted free agents better than anybody. Now, the interesting thing that I will say, looking at what the 49ers have done and the path that these players have to making a roster, okay? Jair Brown, dude's making the roster. You traded up for him in the 3rd round, and he's got the easiest path to playing time. If something were to happen to either safety, Talanoa Hufanga or Tayshaun Gibson, he'd be in the starting role. Jake Moody, good gosh, he spent the highest pick on a kicker in the past decade. That dude's making the roster no matter what. Cameron Latu, he's got to beat out Dwelly or Charlie Warner. I think you just got to beat out Dwelly, to be honest with you. Darrell Luter Jr., the corner, I like him. He's got to beat out Ambry Thomas. And on top of that, oh, look at this. The Rams just traded ahead of the 49ers. I wonder, Niners were on deck. The Rams just jumped up in front of us. I'm curious what it is that they're going after. They already got a quarterback, so I don't think that's what it was, but I am curious. They got their pick in, why they felt the need to jump up past us, but we'll see. Back to Darrell Luter Jr., he's going to have to beat out Ambry Thomas, and then all of the guys, Quantrez Knight, who I'm a big fan of, the undrafted free agent last year. He's going to have to do that. Then Robert Bill Jr. I don't think that he has to beat out anybody. I thought we had an extra roster spot available for the edge based on the guys we lost. Maybe Austin Bryant, but that's not even a competition, I don't believe, because Austin Bryant's greatest trait was speed. Robert Bill's way faster. It's not even close. So these next 4 spots, it is going to be a little interesting just to see exactly how the Niners want to use them. In the past, this is where they double up. This is where they've gone after positions that they've already drafted. Look at Elijah Mitchell. You traded up for Trey Sermon, but you still took a running back in the 6th. You take different guys like Ambry Thomas, you still take Diamador Lenore. You still take these guys later on in the draft. So wouldn't be shocked. I don't think there's any position that's really off the board here. You got to talk offensive line. We have not addressed it. We haven't touched it this draft, and that's interesting to me. I would love to go tight end still. The tight end is where the value is. and wide receivers where the value is. There's still a lot of really good Raheem Jarrett, who I've been saying, look at that. The Rams trade up for a running back, Zach Evans. And so interesting. The Ole Miss guy. I wonder, they must have thought we or somebody else right after us was going to take a running back. We know Kyle Shanahan loves running backs. If I was taking a running back right now, as the 49ers are officially on the clock, I would go Kenny McIntosh. Now, I will ask everybody that's joining us, I appreciate you guys. I would ask that you would not tip the pick, allow us to announce it, react accordingly. So because we're just a little bit of delay because of YouTube. But so again, that's just a preference. Please be kind. If you don't want the pick to be spoiled for you, just hide the chat real quick. You can pull it back up after we announce it. Niners pick is in. 6th round, pick 216. Curious if we go running back. It's interesting that the Rams traded up and did that, but there's a lot of good picks available. You want to go running back? I like Kenny McIntosh. Wide receiver, I like Raheem Jarrett, Bryce Ford Wheaton, Malik Knowles. You want to go tight end again? A lot of guys there. Braden Willis, Noah Grindorf, Zach Kuntz still available. Tackle, man, there's Jackson Kirkland, Ryan Hayes. Interior guys, Henry Bainavalu out of Washington. So there's a lot of talent on the offensive side. Moro Ajomo, defensive tackle. Like, I really liked him out of Texas. I don't know why he's fallen this far. I thought his combine was good. Something must be up with the medical. He was a very, very positive character traits guy. So it's interesting. Eli Ricks out of Alabama. Would we go 2 Alabama players? I don't know about that. That's a lot. Oh, here we go. 49ers select linebacker D. Winters out of TCU. He was a fun player. I had a pretty high grade on him. Let's see here. I had him over Henry Toto. I thought he was a good player. I enjoyed his tape. I had him number 127 overall. Now, how is he going to make this roster? Don't really care. Do the Niners have a big need at linebacker? Not really. But he is a quality player that's played in some big-time football games in his time at TCU. And, man, I don't know. This dude was fun. 5'11", 227. So much more so in the mold of Dre Greenlaw than he was in the mold of Fred Warner. And so, I mean, he's a good player. 9 sacks. He was a blitzer. That's one of the things that stood out to me. I had him as a 4-3 will linebacker or a nickel linebacker, but that's tough. Explosive mover, good range, short area quickness, grab and drag tackler. He's not a huge thumper. That's not really what he does. He's a chase and pull guy. Leadership qualities, high character, passing down linebacker only at the moment. That's why that will spot, right? You've got your number 1 and your number 2. That's solid. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, that ain't going to change. D. Winters is a guy that can compete for that number 3 linebacker spot and special teams. That's what he's going to be. Has to get better at block shedding. Best games were later in the year. Something clicked in 2022. Wish he was taller. Always around the ball and capable of taking over a drive. That was another thing that showed up. Like, when he makes one play, another play's coming. And so you'd go a quarter where you're like, this is kind of getting boring. And then just like, whoa, all right, now we're talking. And that's when he would show up. Speed, 4.49. Speed. Let's pull up D. Winters' chart here on Mock Draftable to see what his measurables look like. Yeah, he's a speed 10-yard split guy. Short arms. The biggest anomaly to this draft class, 2% hand size. Everybody else had huge hands. This guy, tiny hands. And so, like, you look at his 40, he's in the top 94 percentile. Everything else is kind of rough. Broad jump, 50%. Vertical, 30 inches. This dude's not getting up off the ground. That's 13%. Hand size, 2%. Height, 3%. Jordan Brooks, who the Seattle Seahawks spent a first-round pick on, was one of the closest athletic comps to him. Ventrell Miller, Nakobe Dean, those type of guys. Again, that's computer algorithm. These players are close athletically, physically, the way they're built, right? Let's go see what the Beast has to say here. Man, this is good. This is a good pick. The Niners nail linebackers. Is it a need? No, it is not a need. He was the 16th ranked linebacker from Dane Brugler's Beast. He's 22 years old, from Brenham. Oh, what's up, Brenham? They put out some players right there. That's just south of Austin. Now, he was everything in high school, kind of did everything for a small school, which is cool. Big fish in a small pond is what he wrote. Only 27 students in his graduating class. He was the district MVP as a sophomore. Yeah, dude was a baller. Listen to this. He finished, this is 2017 in high school, 64 receptions, 1,100 yards, 19 touchdowns, speed, athlete, 640 rushing yards, 14 rushing touchdowns. That's incredible. All-state his senior year. Lettered in basketball, he was a point guard, track, sprints, and relays, and was a center fielder. So, yeah, dude he was an all-state center fielder. Now he's a linebacker. He added a lot of weight. Can he keep up with that? What's that going to look like? We'll have to see. Because he was a two-way player, he was offered by schools SMU, Houston, Northwestern, UTSA. Ooh, Northwestern's in there. That's going to tell us he's smart. You can't get in there unless you got really good grades. So let's see here. Chose to go with TCU after a junior day. Power 5 offers were Arizona State, Arkansas, Texas Tech. So there you go. Recruited as a safety. He was smaller, bulked up, Senior Bowl player. Good gosh. All these different guys we keep drafting are Senior Bowl players. Wayne, he hit on this like freaking, he nailed it. Niners want Senior Bowl players. Big 12 guys are hard to evaluate because they do a 3-3-5 defense, almost everybody. That doesn't exist in the NFL. They go to the Senior Bowl, you get to see these guys and how they work and kind of everything goes with NFL type players. I like this. I mean, did I think linebacker is a big need? No. Did we draft an important position? No. We haven't all drafted besides the edge player in the corner. Safety, kicker, tight end, linebacker. Only thing that would be, fit in there is if we go running back next. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. You're just going best player available. He's a player. Now, he's played in 48 games, started 36. I'm not seeing a lot of a lot of injuries. I'll have to dive a little deeper into that. But, coming off this last year, first team All Big 12, led the team in tackles for loss. Yeah, 14 and a half tackles for loss this year. His sophomore year had 9.5. Yeah, he's fast, man. He's a blitzing off-ball linebacker. That's his best trait. Whenever I remember watching on film, just like, man, is he a 3-4 outside backer? Like a TJ Watt type of player? Or is he a linebacker? Like he's a tweener. Now you're hoping you can kind of figure some of this out because the aggressiveness pops. I mean, this dude, when he wants to go, he goes. That's all there is to it. Now, he was the Fiesta Bowl defensive MVP. Team captain. Yeah, check, right? Characters, you got it all. You look at some of the strengths, above average play speed and testing speed. Yeah, speed's there. Now, was it 4.4 speed? I don't know about that. He ran a 4.49. I didn't think he was a 4.4 guy, but 4.5 is awesome. 4.6 would have been okay, right? But he's got it. Hips, fast angles, downhill. Yeah, led the team in tackles for loss like I talked about. He flies around, man. Now, again, sometimes he disappeared. There's a reason why he's available at the very end of the 6th round. He's short, so if you're one of those teams like the Colts that's like looking at height, he ain't it. But that's what it is. You can't grow. You can coach everything else. Hits with stopping power, toughness as a tackler, was a regular on punt return and punt coverage. That's how he's going to make this team. Was voted senior captain and started every game the last 3 seasons. Durability, character, special teams. That's his pathway. Now, Aziz is gone. That number 3 spot's open. I think Oren Burks is definitely going to be the guy early. But he's competing with Curtis Robinson and Marcelino McCrary-Ball. Now, they were undrafted free agents last year, but both played well. There's competition at this. And there's a few positions. Oh, Zach Kuntz finally went off the board to the Jets. Robert Saleh got his guy, 7th round pick. We'll see. But back to this, there's a few positions that you can carry extra on because of special teams. That's what this guy's going to be on. He's going to be on every single special teams unit day one. That's how he makes this roster. But he's got to beat out Marcelino Mercari Ball or Curtis Robinson. He didn't have to beat them both out. So the pathway to the roster, to the 53 for this guy, yeah, you've got to beat out one of those guys. This is a 3-horse race, and they are incredible. D winners, Marcelino Mercari Ball, Curtis Robinson. And remember, Curtis Robinson made the roster last year, not Marcelino Mercari Ball. The initial 53. It changed later on. Weaknesses, undersized frame, does not have long arms, can be late, does not sort through traffic. Again, I wrote that in my notes as well, man. He doesn't get off blocks well. Let's see here. Keep going. Appears tight, doesn't redirect. Not a good change of direction guy. He didn't do the 3-cone, which was probably smart for him. Lower body explosion is not there. 30-inch vertical, one of the lowest among linebackers at the combine. Bigger backs can take him from a ride. Doesn't consistently bring his feet as a tackler. Undeveloped coverage. So there we go. Summary, 3-year starter. Dude's awesome. And again, they ran a 3-3-5 scheme. So I'll do film breakdowns on him. It's not even the same gap style. It's not the same coverage style. It's not the same anything. That's why the Senior Bowl was so important for guys like this, because to judge how you get from here to there, whenever it's a completely different look, I know it's still football, but it's different. It's not the same position. And there's fewer gaps, and it's just a different look. So Senior Bowl was huge for this guy. Let's see here. Keep going. Best career performance was against Michigan. You watch that tape, and I just remember saying, who the hell is that dude? Like, he just kept popping. His number's 13 as a linebacker, which I like. But then I watched another game tape on him, and I was like, okay, back down to reality. So it's not, he's not the best ever. You watch that Michigan game. You want to like this guy? Go watch TCU versus Michigan. Like, a big reason why they won that game, they shouldn't have won that game, but a big reason why they did, it was this cat right here. I mean, he could take over a freaking game, and he takes over series. Like, he's fun. Active play speed, terrific run blitzer with his timing, bend and burst. Yeah, there we go. Overall, Winters will run himself out of plays and be engulfed in tight quarters, but he is perpetual chase mode and covers a lot of green. He is a run and hit linebacker with special teams abilities. So yeah, a lot there to like. You're talking, this is a late pick. This is not and once you get into these later rounds, like where we are now, you're just really trying to figure out these guys that can, how do I say this? Find a way onto the roster. His is through special teams. That's just all there is to it. Now, sticking with that, like, PFF didn't even include him in their linebackers. Did they put him on the other side, or they didn't even grade him? Yeah, PFF didn't even grade him. He wasn't even on their entire draft book. So, like, that should tell you something, right? Like, this is where he's going. And so we'll see here. Is Winters better than Foles? Yes. Foles is a 100% linebacker, special teamer only. You remember they didn't even pick up an option on Foles. They let him leave and then brought him back on a futures deal. I like Foles. I'm not trying to say I don't like him, but only as a special teamer. Foles should never play another snap at linebacker again for any NFL team. He's just not a fit. And so we still have him, but I don't even consider him in the linebacker competition. Is that bad? Is that bad to say? And so, yeah, baby hand Winters. I like that 2 percentile. Yeah, he's got tiny hands. Everybody else in this draft that the Niners got, huge freaking hands. So I don't know. Let's see, a breaking 80. Why do you think Trice has fallen this far? I want to be honest. He wasn't one of my 294. When I made my list of guys I wanted to grade, he wasn't on there. He shot up on a lot of mock drafts and stuff later on. Injuries were an issue, but yeah, for me, I didn't have him in my top 300. Not that I'm happy that whatever, but like, we did pretty good. And, I'm looking at our big board that we put together. We've hit on a lot of guys, and, as far as like reaches or whatever else, that's not what I'm talking about. But like, they keep posting like, oh, Daniel Jeremiah hit on like 42 out of 50, his top 50, 42 of them went in the top 50. And I was like, okay, I'm curious where mine is. We were right there with them. So we did a good job. The team did great. We combed through a lot of film, a lot of data, a lot of that stuff. We don't have the team that, a lot of other people have, but there's certain names that stand out. And, one of my biggest fears was the Niners are going to draft all these guys I never heard of. Well, we've gone through 6th round and we've known all these guys. They were all players. Again, I had D Winters 127 on my board. 127. And what pick did he go with? 220, right? Is that where we're at? Uh-oh, don't crash on me now there. Yeah, he went 216. So I had him a full 90 spots ahead. So if we're talking about value, that's incredible value. Is it a position of need? Absolutely not. But I love this pick. And this is kind of the way the draft goes a lot of times with the Niners, who are a very original kind of board team. They think independently from other teams. They are not a groupthink organization. They are an oligarchy with a couple decision makers at the top. And so they will go off the wall early. Once you get late, they found a lot of, home run picks and all that stuff. This could be in there, and he's got time. That's one of the things. There's certain positions you want to go play for the 49ers. Defensive line, yes. Yes. Running back, yes. Quarterback, yes, besides the injuries. And then linebacker. Like, those are the positions that you want to go play for the Niners because they do as good a job as anybody. And, I like this. Things are good. Today has been a good day. Last night was rough and left a kind of foul taste in our mouths. But, yeah, that was rough. Josh, he's staying on it. Need my man Gervais Owens still. I'm not sure another safety is the way to go, but I would not be upset if Gervais Owens was one of these picks at all. Punter just went to the Rams. So we had 3 kickers drafted. I think we've got 2 punters so far. You want to do that in the 7th round? Go ahead, be my guest. Yeah, here we go. William, John, could you please explain the process for undrafted free agents? So every team in the NFL right now, including the Niners, okay, they're calling all these players that they have on their board. So let's just throw a name out there. I saw somebody, let's talk about Jackson Kirkland, tackle out of Washington. You're calling Jackson and you're saying, hey, Jackson, we've got a couple picks left in this draft, and we're hoping we're going to take you. Depending on how things go, if we don't take you, Jackson, and nobody else does, which somebody probably will, we would love to have you come here for an undrafted free agent. And they're already throwing out numbers. They're like, we'll get in contact with your agent on the signing bonus. That's everything. Undrafted free agents get to pick the team that they want to go to. It's the exact opposite of the draft. So once we finish the draft, then the players have almost all the power. They have to be invited. The team has to reach out. They have to come to an agreement. Some guys will come with no signing bonus. Some guys will come with huge ones. We talked about linebackers a while ago. Last year, Marcelino McCrary-Ball got the largest signing bonus of any 49ers undrafted free agent. They coveted that guy. So it's all negotiable. And so for guys that are going to have 10 to 12 offers, they can pick either 1, go with the most money, or 2, what's the best pathway to playing time or making the roster. So the undrafted free agents, and again, this is a huge track record thing for the 49ers because look at what they've done with undrafted free agents, right? Kendrick Bourne, Azeez Al-Shire, right? Emmanuel Mosley, Roz Dwelly, DFF. They have just promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. Daniel Brunskill, all these different players that have just done wonders, right? You look at the running back, Salvin Ahmed, who's with Miami. You talk about Matt Breida. You talk about Jeff Wilson. It goes on and on. So if you're an undrafted free agent and you can get a decent signing bonus, then the 49ers need to be really high on your list. However, I will tell you this. I know several undrafted free agents in the past and present that have been on the 49ers and are no longer on the 49ers, but still are. Money is a factor. You can go live, like, imagine getting, New Orleans offers you the same money as Santa Clara. You're not doing a year lease if you're an undrafted free agent. You're not doing that. You're not packing up the U-Haul. You're getting a crappy apartment. A lot of times they're Airbnbs because you're doing week-long contracts. You're maybe 2 months. How do you sign a lease for 2 months? So these guys have to go get Airbnbs and pay out the wazoo for all this stuff. It's expensive in Santa Clara. You guys know that, right? Like, so there's a lot of factors. But if you're betting on yourself big time, long haul, the Niners have to be at the top of the list. They have to be. And I'm pretty pumped. I'll be honest with you. I'm probably more excited about the undrafted free agents than I am the next 3 picks in the 7th round. Not that I'm not excited about them, but and even for the players, a lot of times it's better to be an undrafted free agent. You get more money if you're prioritized than you will as a 7th round pick. Brock Purdy's making some of the lowest money in the NFL, despite being who he was last year. So it's a whole different kind of system, and it kind of just shifts. A lot of people right now want to be drafted and they want to hear their name called, but financially, it would be better to be an undrafted free agent and have a 3-year career in the NFL than it would be to be drafted in the 7th round and have a 3-year career, if that makes sense, because you're going to make more financially. Not that that's the goal, but it factors in. It's part of this equation. And so, yeah, you got to kind of figure those things. What's up, Shaw? He says bedtime here in Brussels. Appreciate you, Shaw. You're awesome. You are incredible. So I like this pick. D Winners. Again, I mean, that is a huge value. I had him 127 on my big board. I really liked him. It's hard to value linebackers. And he was kind of a weird one with the blitzing and the not blitzing and all that stuff. So we're going to jump off here. We'll come back on live. Again, if you hadn't hit subscribe yet, please do so for those last 3 picks. It's going to be fun. Niners keep getting better. I'm liking this draft more and more. Appreciate you guys. Till next time, stay strong, faithful.